Morning, guys. It's the 25th, 11 o'clock, 61 out in here, 43 outside. Actually, not too bad outside. It's a little, you can see out there, it's a little cloud covered and kind of dirty looking, but anyway, that's not stopping what's going on in here. So I'm gonna bring you along for a little bit more body work, and this shouldn't take a lot of time. I'm just gonna finish this up, and then I'm gonna OSPO it to get any of the rust. And let me take you through the process that I did on this. First of all, I cleaned all this with wax and grease remover, because you don't want to sand and get, at least from my understanding, and some guys may disagree, but whatever you've got on the outside, you got wax, you've got silicones, you've got all this stuff that's been sprayed all over the tires for years and it's slung up on the panels and all that. So the first thing you want to do is clean this panel. Clean it with Dawn dish soap and some warm water, and then get your wax and grease remover and clean it with that, and then start stripping your paint. Now, what I use to strip the paint are these little guys right here, and they're a little pricey, but they work fantastic and they last a long time. And they take the paint off. They don't take the metal off. You won't see any sparks with these. They just zip the paint right on off, and you can see, hopefully I'm not zoomed, anyway, you can see there, it took it off pretty nicely. It's actually pretty fast. I would say it's probably as fast as sandblasting and not near as hard on the metal. Now, would I want to strip the paint of this whole thing with that? Probably not. I might, as thin as this paint is, I might be able to get away with some 80 grit on a DA and strip it off, but that's gonna be for a later time. But anyway, so back to this. Once I get all the paint stripped off, I went ahead and cleaned it again with wax and grease remover, and that's the waterborne wax and grease remover, which is basically isopropyl alcohol. So now I can see all these dark spots are where all my rust was. Okay, you can see all the pitting. You see all those pits and stuff. And then here was a little bit of stuff here. But this is all, you can see here, this is high, this is dented in, and I don't know how well that'll show, but that's a pretty nice dent. So I'm gonna work that out. The rest of it is really not too bad. There's a dent right up here. This is pushed in. I can't get to the back side to hammer and dolly that, so I'm gonna have to pull that with pins. So same. And this right here is a little bit stretched, and I'm gonna try to work this back down and see how we work out. This would be a perfect place, once you got this down close, to use one of those shrinking discs to zip over this bad boy and suck all that down. I have yet to buy one of those. I really need to get one because I bet they work fantastic. Also, after I sanded this down, first I took all the paint off, then I took 80 grit on a DA, and that's where you see all these little, it just basically cleaned the metal up real good and made it uniform. Then I took a wire wheel, this little guy here, and you can see there's not much left of it, and when it looks like that, it likes to fling these bad boys into your face and stick in your nose and stick in your wherever they can stick. So make sure you wear a protection or a face shield or whatever. It'd be perfect time to use that Uvex face shield for that and keep it all out of your face. But so anyway, got down in these pits with that. Okay, so I'm going to take that one step further. Now I'm going to metal work this out to where I can get it as straight as I can get it, and then I'm going to spray OSPO all over this whole panel to get any little microscopic BS that's down in those pits or anything I couldn't get with that wire wheel. Also, I have a spot blaster. These things work great, but you can see there I've got the capture thing on it. It's a little speed blaster. I love it. It works great. It captures a lot of the media, but there's a lot of the media that it doesn't capture. So just know when you use this, you really want to be outside unless you want shit all over your shop floor, which I have anyway. From every time I hit this thing, all that shit falls out of it. Anyway, where was I at? So yeah, you can use that little spot blaster to get down in there, and that would make this metal white. It would take all the rust out of there. You could do that, and that would be perfectly acceptable. But this time I'm going to OSFO this, and I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours. That's what the OSFO says to do. Basically it converts, and I can't remember what it is, whatever oxided rust is, to an iron oxide, or maybe it's, I forgot. I don't even care really, but it converts it to basically an iron something or another, but basically it kills the rust. So, but you let it sit for 24 hours and do its thing. You come back and there's going to be some powdery substance on it. You can take 180, whatever you want to do, take that off, and then you can clean it and put your epoxy over top of that, which I'm not going to epoxy this. I'm going to etch prime with rattle can, and then do my Rust-Oleum just like I did the other side. It's just a flat black, almost looks like primer. But that's just temporary, because I'm figuring out now from looking at this, when I actually start doing this, and like I said, I'm going to have to cut all that out. I'm literally going to have to take this whole panel off, because there's no way that I can get to the inside. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I don't know how well you can see up in there, but all that's rusted from the inside, and it's mostly surface rust, but I can't leave that. So really the only way to get way up in there is to completely take that panel off, lay it on a table, and either, you know, have it be blasted, or, you know, mechanically remove it, or whatever. It's going to have to be removed. All that shit's going to have to come off there if I'm going to keep this panel. Again, that needs to factor into the cost of, is it worth just buying another panel for $800 versus taking the time to take every little spot weld meticulously without tearing it up, you know what I mean, and trying to save everything to where I can weld it all back on. Now this is an original panel, and it's going to fit better than any other panel there is out there, because we know that from the Camaro not fitting like it should. So it may be worth the time to fix this original panel. It's going to be one of those deals that I'll probably do one side, and then after I, you know, see how long it takes to do it, factor in my time and the cost and the whatever else, and go, you know what, it'd just be so much easier to buy a new panel. But we'll have to see when that day comes, but that's not for now. But anyway, I'm just going to finish this up real quick. I thought I'd take you through the process real quick of what I'm doing here. Like I said, I'll pull that with stud, you know, get that out as close as I can. I'll probably hammer and dolly and use the spoon. I love the spoon. Get all that tap back in. I may even have to use a little bit of heat on this because it's stretched so bad. But we'll just have to see how it works out. So, and I'll bring you back, and if I find something that I think might be interesting, or something you guys, you know, I think you might, you know, want to see, I'll turn the camera back on. But other than that, I'll just do most of it, work most of it out, and then show you when it's finished. So, all right, talk to you guys in a little bit. See ya. Sorry to turn that radio off, I forgot. Freaking get in trouble. So, and you can probably hear the ring, but a lot of that was hammer off dolly because I'm trying to shrink some of this area down and push some of this area back up. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. Let me grab a piece of sandpaper and kind of see where I'm at. Still feels fat here, but we'll see. Let me get some paper. I'll bring you back. All right, so this metal is about right. This stuff is still too low. So all too low sit through here. So I need to put my dolly behind that and tap all this area up. That's what I'm gonna do. I need another piece of paper. This paper's pretty well shot. I'll usually use DA paper on a block, but I'm too lazy to get up and walk over there and get another piece, so. Alright, so my scratches, and I don't know how well that'll show, well, my scratches are starting to touch all the way up. Still in here, it's a little low, and that's where that, all the rust was eating away at that. But through here, I'm starting to touch pretty good. Starting to feel pretty good across there. Still high here, still low through here. I still need to come back behind here and work this up. This needs to go down a little bit, but that's probably going to have to be shrunk. And like I said, this would be, again, I know I repeat myself a lot, but that would be the perfect place for one of those discs. The only problem is they're a little pricey, and I have other shit I need to buy. I've got a front wheel bearing going out on my truck. That's 150 bucks. Those discs are for a kit. If you buy the kit, they're over 100 bucks. But like I said, I think they would work really nicely right here. I mean, you just heat it up enough, which I can heat it up with the torch, and I may go ahead and do that and just shrink that down just a little bit. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and work that out a little bit more. And yeah, I think I'm about ready to shed this jacket. I'm about to break a sweat. Okay, I'm gonna get a smaller dolly and try to get up in there behind it. Push out. You gotta really push that out. see where I'm hitting. I'm moving up to here. You can see it's getting lighter. We'll move up in here. Really feeling pretty good. Literally right there, other than the high spot, I could wipe that and it'd be good. But I'm cutting, I don't even know how much of this I'm cutting out, so I don't want to get too carried away. I just kind of want to straighten that metal back out a little bit. A little down here that I need to kind of work on. Yeah, I don't know, like I said, from my angle, which I could bring you over here, you can see all the scratches. They're all consistent. There's almost none missing, maybe a little low still right here where there's not scratches through that area. So I need to go ahead and pull that just a little bit more. Again, this is so, literally, I'm working this to where there would be no putty there at all. And like I said, you can't overwork that and stretch it, so you gotta be careful. There's a fine line there. You beat on that too much, it'll start coming out because you're actually stretching the metal that way. And yeah, I may heat this little area up here just a little bit. I may try propane torch. It's still a little bit low right there. I can feel it. I may try my propane torch and just see what I can get away with. Just gently heating that up. I've never really used propane torch. I've always used either my shrinker, which I could still use, or I used a regular oxyacetylene torch. But those oxyacetylene torches, man, they put it on there. I'm telling you, it can get away from you quick. So you gotta be real careful. I think just light heat, if you think about it, and I'm just making shit up as I go here, but I'm just trying to common sense this out. If you think about it, when you got those shrinking discs, all they're doing is creating friction, which creates heat, which is shrinking that metal. So you run across here and it's flat, and it only shrinks the high spot. Say this is your high spot. It only shrinks that area. Then you quench it a little bit, and it sucks it in. Well, if I go over there and get that propane torch, all I'm doing is creating just a little bit of heat. Same would be probably for one of those discs. And then I'm gonna quench it a little bit, and it's just gonna draw that down in there a little bit. And I'm sure when this bent up, it stretched that out some, so. All right guys, here we go. Let's give this a shot. Just your regular little Burn-O-Matic propane, pick it up from Home Depot, Lowe's. There you go. We're just gonna add a little bit of heat. And oh shit, I forgot my water. Well, we got Windex here, let's do that. Watch this Windex, probably super flammable. Alright, we'll see. So got my hammer ready. I'm gonna heat this up in just that area. And what I want to do is, since I'm trying to shrink it, I'm gonna hammer in on a circle, basically around it. So I'm this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, all the way around. All right. That's the general idea, anyway. At least where I was taught. And normally you want to make this till it's kind of an orangish color, but I said I'm not overly concerned about that. It's starting to kind of discolor a little bit. Take your rag. You hear it? You may not be able to hear that, but that's steaming and taking the goop off. All right, it looks like it works some. I can feel it. I said I hate to touch metal with my bare hands. These gloves here aren't very good for this. Your best bet on gloves. Again, everything I tell you guys is my opinion, so take it for what it is. But your best bet on gloves is the old cheap jersey gloves, because I mean, you can do your bare hand. I mean, you're just gonna clean the metal, wax and grease, whatever. But these cheapo jersey gloves, man, they work so nice, and you can feel every little thing. So yeah, it's still high through here. So all this needs to be kind of shrunk down. So I'm gonna go ahead and work all this little area down, because it's all high. So all this area here, just gonna put a little bit on it. See what we get. And I'm gonna use a slapping spoon for this area here because it's a big area. Just heating that up. We're not getting crazy. We're just heating her up a little bit. We don't want to shrink this thing like crazy. Now when you're heating this, it's going to swell. That's just the way it is. Heat's going to make this swell. Okay, so we got that. Real quick. Shrink that down real nice. Looks like Windex isn't flammable, so there you go. Just saved y'all's lives. You can use it and not be scared. Well, that's a nice little divot that rust dang near went. I don't know if it went through, but it's dang close, I bet. All right, that's still a little more. Where'd my sandpaper go? Come on. Still feels a little fat through there, so I'm gonna keep on going. Yeah, that's bowing up big time. Let's go Windex straight on that bad boy. Feeling better, but it's still just pretty much in this area here. And let's go ahead and take a Sharpie real quick. Let me plug my camera in before it goes dead and I sit here and waste my breath on a lot of this stuff. Let me bring you back. I'm gonna get me something to plug in my camera with. All right, let's see what we got here. This area here. Let that dry up for a second. so this area through here is a little bit fat. I can feel it. So I need to take that down, because if I wipe that with mud, as soon as I start sanding on that, this little shiny spot's gonna come right back on out there. You have to get those down. Now you can tap those down. You can take you. If you don't care, if you're not trying to get fancy or whatever, you can take you hammer like this. You can tap on these areas and tap that down. You can take a pick-headed hammer. All kinds of stuff you can do to drop that. But I'm choosing to do this just for shits and giggles, because I've never used propane torch on this. So I'll give it a shot and see what it does. See if it likes it. If it does, it's easy, it's handy. Instead of having to hook up your propane torch, or I mean your oxyacetylene torch, or if you don't have the money to go buy a fancy disc kit or a shrinker and all that kind of stuff, you know, if this works, then we're good to go. I'm gonna just work this little area right here real quick, try to bring it down. Good thing too about this torch is, like oxyacetylene, you probably need some kind of a stand, because otherwise you don't want it flopping around. This, you can just set it on the floor. All right? I don't want to get too crazy beating on that, because you can, like I say, you can do a little bit more damage. Of course, right now it's so close, but once I get it just a little low, then filler's going to take care of the rest of that. It feels pretty good. It's still a little bit high through there. It's still a little warm too. But Windex evaporates a lot faster than water too. Alright, so this feels pretty good right here. I'm going to go ahead and work on this area a little bit more, because I can feel it's still out, stretched out pretty good. Let's go ahead and hit it real quick. And you can literally physically watch that thing swell. So don't let that freak you out. It's starting to discolor, turn a little bit funky. That should have took care of that. That's pretty good right there. And that heat along with the Windex looks like it just freaking evaporating like immediately. Alright, looks like I got this one. It's actually feeling pretty good. It's not raised up here. Looks like this here is still a little bit fat. I'm gonna hit that one more time. Just bring it down. And still have a little dent here. And I can pull that out just by slapping it. And I'll do that real quick. Get up behind here. I need this littler dog. Just get right behind it, push up and work it out. little low here. Put my hearing protection back on. Alright guys, I'm going to use my stud puller, and I want to go over this again real quick because I think it's really important, because I had a lot of issues at the body shop, and the owner didn't even know this, or at least he didn't tell me if he did. When you use these little studs, there we go, they got a coating on them. So if you'll just take your grinder and just knock the coating to where it's just bare metal, it will stick phenomenally. If you don't, it may just pop right off. And I had that, I mean, I sat and banged my head off the wall trying to figure out what the hell was wrong, why I was doing that. I took the time just to grind that little coating off there, boom, made all the difference in the world. So if yours doesn't do that, then don't worry about it. But mine freaking did it. And so I always just take it real quick, knock the coating off of it. It takes a second, but I mean, it's better than putting it up there and then having the stinking thing just pull right back off. Oh, got my cords all wrapped up underneath and around. They pretty much do what they want to do. All right. So, found my deepest part of the crease, because that's what's holding the rest of that dent. So, I don't know if you guys will be able to see that or not, but basically right in here. And that sucker's on there. It welded it good. I take my little stud lever because I like it's more controlled than taking a slide hammer, which you can do, but it's just not as controlled as this little guy here. Get your little area with your ridge so it's got something good to pull against. And just ever so gently, just work that little dude out. All right, I'm gonna leave that about there. I don't wanna get too crazy. And now I'm gonna I'll probably move up right in here. I'll run another one of these off. All right. Looks like right in there is pretty. And that other one may be in my way now. I may have to pop that one off. We'll see. No, it's gonna work. I'm just gonna get over here on the side. I'm back behind this so you guys can't see, so I can actually watch that metal moving. And just gently pull that out. You don't want to pull it up too high. You get your high spots if you do that. So this little crease runs all the way down here, but it's not. It's really not too bad. The worst of it was right up in here. So if I was to take a block and run over the top of this, you can see this whole area is low, okay? And it's just barely low. Like I said, most guys would wipe that with a little bit of putty or a little bit of filler and be going down the road and be happy. But I'm not that guy. I'm that guy that's ridiculous. So I'll be ridiculous with it. So we'll go back this direction with it. Come out a little bit more on that side. That's where that trim goes in, these holes, and I probably won't put that trim back on because, just to be honest with you, I think it looks like shit. I like it clean, so I'll probably weld all these holes up. I know some people are probably pissed off about that, but it's mine, so. My dad, I'm not one of those purists that it has to be a factory Chevelle SS 396 4-speed, all original, SS, can't be modified, has to be freaking everything perfect, 100 point, you know, all that kind of stuff. To me, and I may change my mind when I'm older, and I'm probably gonna piss someone off, but it's almost a little boring to me. These cars are an extension of my personality, or at least I would think most people's personality. So you get it and you put the wheels on it that you like, you know, you put the paint on it that you want, and you just make it personal, you personalize it. I mean, that's the fun of it to me, is to be able to do that and make it what you want. I mean, you're gonna be driving it, and you know, you want it to look like you want it to look. And if you like the factory hubcap red line wheels, and man, that's great. There's a place for that. I'm just saying that's not necessarily for me. Like I said, now my opinion changes as I get older, and when I'm 65 years old, I may be, you know, tired of looking at modified cars. But you know, and I like original interiors, stuff like that. I'm not a real big fan of all this new leather, swooping stuff, and all that stuff's cool, but I think to me you date your car when you do that. Like the Chip Foose paint jobs, the two-tones, man, those look awesome, but 10 years from now, is it gonna be like back in the 60s when they put all the, you saw the drag cars had all those freaking stripes, rainbow stripes down the sides and stuff. I mean, you can look at a car like that today and go, oh yeah, that's a 60s era car. So you've dated that car by doing that. So for me, I'm gonna leave it for the most part stock. I'm gonna put some badass wheels on it. I'm gonna put a kick-ass paint job on it. May modify the interior up a little bit, but it's gonna probably have just regular seats. But they may be like, I like these new seats they have that they're like factory seats, but they got a little bit more bolster on the sides, and I forgot who makes them, T something or another. But anyway, they're awesome. Stuff like that. That to me, I don't mind that, but it's just that's an opinion thing. I mean, that's all it is. It's my opinion. It's like they say, opinions like assholes. Everyone's got one, and guess what? I got one too. So I'm liking that pretty well. And now you can see this low area is starting to go away pretty well. I hope you guys like these videos. I'm just trying to help, like I said, the guys that don't, well, that's interesting. Almost looks like the trim did something funky right here, because this whole area is actually low. Because up in here, it's a smooth transition. But right here, it kind of wants to dive in. So I may have to work this little area a little bit to get that where there's not so much of a low spot there. And that's probably less than 1/16 of an inch. I may or may not mess with that, but that's something you could wipe. That's a filler wipe and go on. But I've already spent probably too much time on this, just goofing with it. But I like this stuff. This to me, this is what I like it. I think I've already said that in past videos. So that's still a little bit wonky, as Scott Best would say. I think he says that. Could be wrong, but, or Higgly Piggly. I know he says that. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. He's funny. He's from I don't know, somewhere overseas, so he talks funny. He probably listens to us and thinks we talk funny. So alright, so yeah, still a little low here, a little low through here. So I'm just gonna piddle around with this just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna finish this up. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray with some Ospo just to kill any of the little microscopic shit that's in there. And I'll let it sit, and I'll move on to the next thing, which will be the Camaro. And I'll probably just move this thing outside for a little bit. And then once the Ospo cures up, I'll come back in tomorrow or whatever and clean it off and do what I said. Basically just shoot some BS over it. But this is for me, I think it's a really good repair. It's going to be better than most. Let's see if I can get you some good views of this. I mean, this is really nice and straight. It's really nice and smooth. Your only discoloration is where the rust pitted, and that it is what it is. You got to live with that. Either that or you replace the whole friggin' panel, or this whole section or whatever. But it's not necessary. You don't have to do that. Literally, you could probably take a little bit of fiberglass filler, run in there, and but what I'm gonna do is probably fill those pits with a little bit of filler. I'll just use my epoxy primer to get down in the pits and whatever, and then I'll just wipe me a tight wipe of Rage Gold or whatever over it and go on down the road. Because this is not gonna be a show car. It's gonna be a daily driver. I'm gonna have fun with it, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And so, don't get me wrong, it'll be nice, it'll be shiny, it'll be pretty, but I don't want to have to cry every time it, you know, rock chips hit it or whatever, chips it or whatever. All right, guys, I probably made this video just stupid long, so I apologize for that. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.